Well, first of all, I closed my eyes during that song, Marcy, and I refused to open my eyes because I wanted to stay focused on. That was a powerful, powerful words. And then I opened my eyes and I'm like, boom. There it is. Now, it doesn't just happen like that, but it took a village to make that happen, including Yvette, who was back there helping, and Dave, and Linda, and of course, Sandy, who just is not going to give up. And I just want to say thank you to that village and your commitment to trying to get this PowerPoint up. Thank you all. This is our time of meditation. And I actually am going to start with a song, a part of a song, because it's been speaking to me a lot, and you'll hear that when I start my talk today. So let's see if technology on my phone's going to work. We're going to give it a try. So just listen to, this is Daniel Nahmad's, and it's called Ocean Says to Go Along with the Water. And it's from his CD called Water. But I just picked an excerpt of it.
If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along, just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go.
Can you relate? I can for sure. You'll hear about that. You got it. Go where the ocean says to go.
It's a scary thing for sure to lay down my oars, quit pretending that I've ever been in charge. But it's scarier still to spend my strength and will, never even have a peaceful heart. So here goes the toughest thing. Ironic, don't you think, that it's so hard and so easy all at once. It's not laziness, it's just the deepest kind of trust that I'm okay when all is said and done. I'm okay when all is said and done. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along, just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along, just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go.
Isn't that good? That's Daniel Nahmad. His CD is called Water, and it's the last song on that CD, which Ocean Says to Go, where the ocean says to go. Let me just shut this off here so it doesn't bother us. There we go. Oh, there we go. So, I thought I'd take that as our lead into meditation. And I saw many of you had your eyes closed. And so you're already starting to move into that zone. And so that's what I ask you right now. If you have any papers in your hands, set it aside. Put the bulletin down. There's nothing you need to do. Ego loves to distract during this time because this time is for you. It is for you to just let it go. Drop your oars. It'll all be all right. stop steering your boat for just these next 5 minutes. So take a deep breath in, as deep as comfortable. And then with the exhale, this is the letting go, dropping your oars. Take another easy breath in, breathing in love and choosing heaven today. And with the exhale, this is the part about being awake, alive, awake, enthusiastic. So I want you now to just go to that place in your mind's eye where you feel safe. And for many of you, you've done this many times with me as we start meditation. And it can be a place that's real, in your home, a favorite chair. It can be in your garden. It can be in the woods. It can be by a river, in a field of flowers, in your garden, your vegetable garden, in a forest stand of trees. It doesn't matter. This is your place. So I want you to just go by the power of this imagination that we have, this gift of imagination, and just go to that place where you know you are safe. All is well. All is well. So I want you now, through the power of your imagination, to imagine yourself in your little boat. Maybe it's a big boat, or maybe it's a rowboat or a motorboat. It doesn't matter. Just imagine yourself sitting in a boat knowing you are safe. If you want to imagine having your life jacket on, you can do that. Whatever makes you feel comfortable in this boat. There's not going to be any strong currents. You're not going to face any tipping over. You're safe. But I want you to just look in front of you as you sit in that boat. Look at the bow, the front, and just think about what are the things that you've been distracted by this week, or even this morning. And think about how much time you've spent trying to push through those individuals, those situations, those Facebook posts that you don't like or you don't agree with. These are what that song was about. How much time we spend trying to steer our boat when the water knows where to go. So, are you ready to drop the oars, drop the steering wheel on your boat, stop the motor, and just imagine drifting through all that, whatever that is for you. Some of that can be health challenges that are in front of you. Pending doctor visits, pending surgeries, pending a conversation that you're dreading having with someone. Technology issues. All that pushing and trying to steer through it is wearing some of us out, isn't it? So I want you to just imagine, it's not about taking all that stuff in front of your boat away. That's not what we're doing here. We're just allowing it to not have power over our boat as we just let the current carry us through. So in the quiet and silence of your heart and mind, imagine how it feels to just float past all these things that you've been trying to steer through this week, today, future, this coming week. And just imagine yourself going where the ocean is leading you. It's calm. It's quiet. As you just drift through all those perceived challenges and just acknowledge them. Thank you, but I'm moving through. Thank you, but I'm moving through. In the quiet of your mind. How does it feel to just quit steering your boat for a little bit? Notice how you feel right now. As you start to just slowly, because it's a very cool place to be, isn't it? In calm water. And knowing you don't have to steer or start the motor up or put it in overdrive. Just let it be. As you slowly bring your awareness back, I want you to just gently notice your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers a little bit. And if your eyes were closed, to gently open them. As we'll get to hear another beautiful song by Marcy and Yvette.
Feels good to let go and breathe. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my vision, thy true word, I ever with thee and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, and I thy true Son. Thou in me dwelling, and I with thee one. Thank you.
Oh, that was nice. Boy, and that's going along with the talk too, Marcia. Be thou my vision. Yeah, and that's the way it works, isn't it? So I've been gone for 4 Sundays. I have never been gone for 4 Sundays, but technically I've only been gone for 3 Sundays because the church had to close again while I was gone. Jeez. But Angie, Sandy, thank you. You both did a great job. I listened to it on Facebook, and I want to thank you both. And Sandy, I know you're busy back there, but I just want you to know, I want to make sure you heard that. Yes, thank you. So I want to just open with a little bit of our trip. Michael and I went to Florida to visit family. I went to guest speak at a church in St. Petersburg. And I'm just going to say that just like this morning with technology, our trip from start to finish, and even including today, has been full of challenges. Full of opportunities for growth. Full of opportunities for growth. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Full of opportunities for growth. Literally, every week was an opportunity. Every week was an opportunity for growth. Every week was an opportunity to do the hokey pokey and turn myself around. I can't go into all the details because you'd be here for another extra hour. But just trust me on that, and I'm sure moments of these 4 weeks will show up in other talks because that's always the way it works. And yet, be thou my vision. Because today's talk, do you see the title there? We've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Do you know what Genesis 3 is about? It's the Garden of Eden story. Oh, yeah, the Garden of Eden story. Yep, well, I looked it up in my big Bible. And of course, I said, oh my gosh, this is too long and too wordy. So I went to my children's Bible because it's a lot more fun in there. So let's take a look at that tree there, Sandy, the tree with the fruit. Nope, the other tree. There we go. Yep, we're going to be communicating with each other on slides because of a little technology opportunity. Right. So, in the east, in the Eden, God made a garden in which every tree and plant and everything stood. In the middle of it was the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. God put the man into the garden and telling him he can eat of any fruit he wished except from the tree of knowledge. Some of you know this story. Right, so we got the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, tree of life, you help yourself to, tree of knowledge, stay away, right? Okay, so Adam fell asleep, and God sent him from one of his ribs a woman, and he named her Eve, and she became his wife. And they even put this in the children's Bible. They walked naked and happy in the garden because they had no need for clothes. Now, kids could understand that, couldn't they? I think about a 2-year-old, right? Take those clothes off. So now the serpent comes in. See him in that tree? Well, that's a sneaky little snake. So he says to Eve, he says, any fruit except from the tree of knowledge. That's what God told you? She said, yes, and if we eat it, we will die. Snake says, you will not die. Instead, you'll discover the difference between good and evil, and you will be equal or even better than God. And the woman gazed at that tree and looked at that wonderful fruit. She was tempted. She picked one and she ate it. And then she gave one to her husband and he ate it. And they looked at each other, and all of a sudden they noticed that they were naked, and they went and hid, and they gathered fig leaves together, and they covered themselves because they were embarrassed, and they hid from God. Oh, I'm not even reading now. I'm taking off on Kathy's version of the children's Bible. But that's what happened, right? And God's like, Adam, where are you? And he says, I'm here, God. And he said, why are you hiding? Because I'm ashamed. I'm going to stop there. Because I'm ashamed. This story is about you. It is about me. I'm going to tell you, let's see. Oh, yeah, let's lighten it up a little bit. Did you know that Adam and Eve had a computer? It was an apple. But it was so bad that just one bite and everything would crash. Sandy, did we eat the apple back there this morning? What do you have that Adam never had? Oh, there you go. Ancestors. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A little boy opened up the big and old family Bible, and he was fascinated, and he looked at the old pages as he turned them, and suddenly, out of the turning of the pages, something fell out of it. And he went to the ground, picked it up, and he looked at it, and it was an old leaf from a tree that had been pressed in between the pages. You ever seen the Bible? Family's done that, right? Okay. He goes to his mom, look what I found. She goes, what have you got there, dear? He says, I think it's Adam's suit. Okay, we're moving right along. Now let's go back to the garden. Yep. Okay, so you've got the snake. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to paraphrase here. Okay. No, maybe I'll do this. I'm going to change my mind here. Can we go to that quote of the Garden of Eden? Let's see. Nope. There we go. Okay, Garden of Eden. The Hebrew derivation, is from Gan, which equals, that's Eden, is supposed to be what that says. That's supposed to be Eden. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so it should be, that's a typo. We're just going to go to Gan is garden. Eden is a time or a season, beauty or pleasure. So I like you to know where these words come from, because this all got translated through many languages here. Okay, so let's go to the next one there. There we go. So metaphysically, the Garden of Eden is a pleasant, harmonious, productive state of consciousness. The Garden of Eden is divine consciousness. I might as well just say the Garden of Eden is heaven consciousness. Remember, in the garden, everything was perfect, wasn't it? They wanted for nothing, okay? Just like when we let go of our oars and we let that water carry us, we're into oneness consciousness. When you are in oneness consciousness, how does it feel? You've been there. You have. It feels wonderful, doesn't it? But what happens when we bite the apple in the tree of knowledge and we enter into separation consciousness? And that's what's going on there, is separation consciousness. So I want you to, I'm just going to read this to you because I think it's important for you to hear this. This comes out of Truth Unity. If you ever want to just play with some metaphysics, go to truthunity.org and just put a search word in, and you will find really some rich metaphysics of Bible stories. And so when you're met with someone who is more fundamental and wants to throw quotes at you and the Bible and say that those are literal to them, for us Unity Truth students, we take it deeper and we go beyond the physical word, the literal word, and we want to know what a deeper meaning is. So it says the Garden of Eden is a story, it's a metaphor representing the state of perfect divine consciousness, where man exists in complete harmony with the creative forces of the universe. Eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil symbolizes the moment when man becomes aware of his separate self and experiences duality. I experienced a lot of duality in that 4-week trip of ours. It kept showing itself, and I kept biting the apple. I did. I didn't stay there long, but sometimes 2 minutes is long enough, isn't it? It seriously, and sometimes hours, sometimes a day. It's the truth. There were things that were happening that were just beyond my control, and I was trying to push through it, and it wasn't happening. So then he says, the key points. I'll hit the key points. The garden as a metaphor. The garden is not a literal place, but rather a representation of the potential within each individual to access a perfect unity with God. Adam and Eve, of course, represent the intellect, as Adam represents the intellect. Remember, we do this at Christmas time. The male figure is the intellect, the get-her-done person, and then the female is more the intuitive, emotional side. Okay, the tree of knowledge, I could go on with a long part of this, but I really like it. The tree of knowledge represents the potential to experience both good and evil, signifying choice, consciously aligning with divine thought or succumb to lower desires. The serpent, we can all relate to that one. That's the allure of sensory experience. That's the allure of the bag of potato chips that I know I shouldn't eat. It can be that simple. Or it can be the allure of the perceived opportunity. I perceived it as a challenge, and the allure of feeling that that challenge had power over us. Even though we were in sunny Florida, stuff still happens, right? Doesn't matter where you go, you take you wherever you go, right? Okay, tilling the ground. After they got, what happened then? Oh, we didn't finish that part, did we? What happened when Adam and Eve got caught by God and they were ashamed of themselves? What did God do? Do you remember? Leave. You're out of here, right? And you will till the earth forever, right? Tilling the ground. I love this. Once expelled from the garden, humans, this is metaphysics. Once expelled from the garden, humans are tasked with tilling the ground, meaning they must consciously cultivate their thoughts and actions in order to return to a state of harmony with the divine law. Ooh. So let's just look at, we went from the tree. Let's see Adam and Eve picking the apple from the tree. Hey, there's the serpent in there. Go ahead and eat it. Go ahead, right? And then the next one is biting the apple. Excuse me. And there she goes, right? So, this is a story. And I don't even know if I need the next 2 slides. This story is about consciousness, okay? When I was reading Truth and Unity and I was looking at that, you know, and he says, this story is metaphorical. It's not that there was really an Adam and Eve and there was a garden. This is a story of lessons to teach us. And I thought about that on the way over here this morning. I'm like, how did this happen? So we got Adam and Eve, and then do you remember Adam and Eve had 2 sons? Then how do we get the rest of the people? Where did the human race come from? Adam and Eve had 2 boys. Where's the, what? Something's missing in this story. But this is the way the stories were, that's how they taught people back then. Through allegory, through stories that people could try to understand. They didn't understand, they didn't have near the knowledge available to them that we have today. And so that's why I love metaphysics. I love taking the stories in the Bible, and I know Sandy does too, and taking the richness from them, and what does it have to do to teach us today? So I feel why I chose this when I came here, when I came back, was because I feel that now more than ever, we have got to, you know what, let's go ahead and show that, got to get back to the garden. Nope, there's a slide that's got a peace symbol. And there it is. How's this song go? We've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Come on, you Woodstock people. You act like I don't remember that. We've got to get ourselves back to the garden, people, because life keeps being the sneaky snake. Facebook, news apps are the sneaky snake. I'm not telling you to shut it off. I'm not telling you to pretend that there's not a snake. I'm telling you, don't give it any power. You get to choose whether you want to be in hell or you want to be in heaven states of consciousness. You were born in the garden. You were born in the garden, people. Think about it. Till 2 years old, life was everything you wanted. Pretty much, wasn't it? Okay? But then we started learning knowledge. We started learning differences. We started learning judgments at a very young age. Very young age. So we have been ingrained to leave the garden in order to survive. Now, you know me. I'm always saying a foot in this world and a foot in the spiritual world. Be in the world, but not of the world. That's where I needed to go continuously on our 4 weeks gone. Continuously. And then when I got home, it didn't get any better. I could have brought this energy of technology difficulties with me because for 3 weeks while we were gone, I struggled with technology. And the more I struggled, guess what kept showing up? Okay, last night wasn't any different. The same thing. And then this morning, I get up and I go into my office to try and get my notes together to make some sense, and I can't find my glasses. And I'm like, I ran over them in my office with my office chair. Then I went into the laundry room where Michael has stored sails for his sailboat. Now, we're not talking a bag like this. A bag of sails for a decent-sized sailboat is enormous. Well, we have stored them in the garage, which is where the laundry room is, and Michael goes in there, and the dog has chewed 3, at least so far, 3 holes in the sails. We are hardly speaking to each other this morning because I'm livid about my issues, he's livid about his issues, and I'm like, we got to do the hokey pokey, Michael. We've got to let's talk about what we're grateful for. Bingo. You want to know how to get yourself back into the garden? You've got to do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around and go to gratitude. I'm looking at Angie. I heard her talk. I've heard Sandy's talk. They both talk this constantly. How did they make differences in their life? Major differences in their life. You want to talk about another person. I mean, every one of us have these opportunities going on in our lives, don't we? Yes. Some are very serious. And how do you do the hokey pokey when you've got something serious facing you in there? The only thing that I can come up with is gratitude. It will help you turn around. Now, scientifically and quantum physics, what you're doing is you are changing your vibration. Hey, so if you're into this, which I am, because I love science and spirituality making sense together, and so you are changing your vibration. Because first thing when I saw my glasses and I crunched them, and I'm like, these are not even a month old. I got them right before we left. And I'm like, oh. Michael, you won't believe what happened now. What? The sales? What? What is wrong with our dog? Oh, my. Dog's being a dog, isn't it? Oh, yeah. So it was like, okay, I am thankful for there was a health crisis while we were gone with Michael. And I said, I am thankful that all of your tests came out wonderful and that you are healthy. And I'm thankful that we have each other, and that we're not doing life alone. And I'm just trying to come up with stuff. And it changed. But what's literally changing is vibration. I witnessed Sandy back there at that sound booth, camera booth, witnessed her staying steady Eddie. Those of us around her were not as steady. We were all trying to pipe in. And I finally said, let Sandy just do her thing and let her be quiet, because she's thinking. She stays steady. What does that vibration tell the universe? Right, I want more steady, okay? This lesson about the garden is so about our everyday life. And you get to choose whether you want to leave your garden, which it can happen in a moment, or whether you want to move back. You're going to leave it, people, because you're on this earth planet, and you're in this earth school, and we're here. You're going to leave the garden, but you don't have to go rent space here. This is your true reality. This is who you spiritually are. So where is that? Don't bite the apple. Is she there again? Don't bite the apple. Don't do it. And when you do, because you will, because something will happen as soon as you leave, or somebody will say something on the way out, and you Did you see how she looked at me? How come she never talks to me? I've been sitting by this person for a long time. Nobody ever sits down there with me in fellowship. I'm always sitting by myself. Right? Whoop, we bit it. Whoop, we bit it. That's how easy. Okay, acknowledge you bit it, and don't stay there. Don't stay there. So let's go to the affirmation, please. There we go. Let's say this together. every moment of every day, I get to choose separation or oneness. Don't bite the apple. Let's do it one more time. Do you really believe it? Do you really want this? Every moment of every day, I get to choose or oneness. Don't bite the apple. Love it. Thank you. Namaste. It is so good to be back with each and every one of you. You are my family, and it feels like I'm back home again. Namaste. Thank you. I'm going to get lots of hugs if I can later. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. So let's see, what do we got here? Our chaplain today is Elizabeth Wakazik, and she will be available for private prayer. She will also be following behind the love offering, and she will be collecting prayer requests. If you filled out a prayer request in the pew, please send them to the center, and then Elizabeth will collect them. She will then send them on to the chaplains. You're prayed with, from the chaplains will be praying with you silently for 7 days. Then those prayer requests are sent on to Silent Unity, and you're prayed for and held in prayer for another 30 days. So we take prayer very seriously here. So, and Elizabeth will be available for private prayer after the service. I believe that, okay? All right. And with that, let me think if feel like I'm a little out of sorts here, but I think I got it. And so it's time to collect our love offerings as well. And if you are a sustained giver, which means that you give electronically, and if you are, I hope you are staying for the annual meeting, because you will see the percentage of sustained givers in this church. And it's amazing. And how that got us through 2 closures since January 1st. That's 2 Sundays closed. That can be devastating to a church that doesn't have this program. Grab one of these if that's the way you give. If you give on PayPal or you're doing Venmo, and those on Facebook, mail in, however you are giving to this ministry, please, I want you to just imagine holding that in your hand as we say our blessing together. Divine love expressed through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I have faith in God as my instant, constant, and a constant supply. Thank you, God. And that God that you have faith in is the God within. Right? Right.